talk about chapters 4 to 5 in Caddie Woodlawn by Carol Ryrie Brink. And if I did not say that right, like Ryrie, I'm not really sure if I said that right. If so, I'm very sorry. Anyway, this book was published in 1935 and it won the John Newbery Medal. So you might be thinking, this is a very, very old book. Is this still gonna be fun? It is very fun. And I really like this book, so I hope that you like it too. And let's begin. But before that, I wanted to say something about this book. I really prefer the illustrated one, so it's okay if you don't have illustrated ones. If you don't have the illustrated one, but I like the illustrated one a lot, so I'd highly recommend the illustrated one. There aren't a lot of illustrations, but you know, there are a few illustrations and I really like them, so. Now, do you think that Uncle Edmund will be able to get anything while he's hunting? And if so, do you think that you would like to go along with him? And why or why not? Do you approve of hunting? Well, I really don't approve of hunting. I mean, I still fish. I like fishing, but the thing is, when I fish, I know that I'm not gonna get anything. I'm a terrible fisher. No, it's just that there's no fish. No fish will come to me. So it's not that I'm very terrible at fishing. It's just that, you know, I'm not very good. And because of that, you know, when I go fishing, it's not like somebody's gonna think, wow, Jane's going to kill so many fish. They're probably thinking, oh, that's just a good pastime. No fish will be harmed because no fish ever come near me. And because of that, yeah, I don't really like shooting either. So fishing is the only type I like. And yeah, I don't fish a lot either. So I don't really approve of hunting. It's not like I'm anti-hunting, but I also don't like it. And I don't think I would like to go because I hate the sound of a gun. And I also hate seeing an animal die. So those are two things that I really don't like. What about you? Do you like hunting or not? And now, do you think that Caddie, if you have been Caddie and you were chosen, would you have been overjoyed or would you have been thinking, oh, that's gonna mean that I'm gonna see dead animals? I don't like that. What do you think? I think that, I mean, I don't really like hunting, but I would like to go into the woods. I really like nature and it will be a nice experience to go into the woods, even though the actual hunting part will be pretty bad. And I have a question. Have you ever said something mean to somebody else and have you regretted it in the end? Or have you just refrained from it? So can you think of a time when you've refrained from saying something really rude? And also, this is just a perfect weather, right, for hunting. And if you describe this place, you know, this place is so beautiful, right? Would you like to live here or do you think that you wouldn't like to live here? Now, another question I wanted to ask is about pioneering. This is in the pioneering age, you know, when new land is still being discovered. I mean, of course, by then, mostly they've found almost everywhere and they've colonized a lot of places, but still, there's still more places to go that they haven't explored yet. And do you think that in this pioneering age, do you think that it will be very exciting? Because, you know, there's always this new frontier, untamed land that you can claim. Do you think that will be very exciting? Or do you think that you would just be thinking, it's terrible. I mean, it's so scary. And I like a world that is already mapped out and safe. What do you think? What are the pros and cons of this world? And what are the pros and cons of the old world? And what do you like better? I like this world better because it's much safer, right? And it's much faster. We can go from place to place much faster. And also, but what I mean by safer is that there's a lot more medications in hospitals. There's more learning and science. A lot of science has been achieved. Scientists are always making new medications for different things. And also, it's just really amazing. We have cars and airplanes, things that they didn't have back then, and cars and airplanes and technology. Without them, it's sort of hard to imagine a world without them. Without computers or phones or smartwatches or even electricity. And I really do think that, yeah, this age is pretty cool. And also, there's platforms like YouTube. Without YouTube, I wouldn't be able to do this. So that's a definite plus. Still, do you think that the age of human expansion, like the expansion to new frontiers, do you think that's over, or do you think that we're doing it in other ways? It's definitely not over. Now people are saying we're gonna colonize Mars. Personally, I do not know why people will want to colonize Mars. There's a lot of beautiful spots in the United States, in the world. And I don't know why people want to go to a red planet I'm pretty sure a thin atmosphere. Why would they want to go to this inhospitable place that takes so much money and research and science and investment to go to when we have beauty here? I'm not like a person who just likes the United States. I'm not a close-minded person. It's just that, why do we want to go there when we have such a good gig going here? What do you think about space expansion? Do you think that it's good or bad? And what are the pros and cons of it? And so, Uncle Edmund said that he would bet a silver dollar, right? If Caddie beat him, right, coming back, then he would give her a silver dollar. Now, when he said that, were you immediately alerted to something that's suspicious, or did you just think, wow, Caddie's gonna have a great time? Well, I wasn't really suspicious, but since this chapter is all about the silver dollar, I think that something crazy is going to happen with the silver dollar. I didn't really think that it was suspicious. I just thought that something would happen. That's it. And now, do you think that if you had been Caddie, do you think that you would have agreed to this immediately? Are you somebody who never takes bets? Or do you think that if you did agree, you would first make sure that everything will be okay, like there were no tricks? Because when somebody says that, you just have a feeling that maybe something's wrong. What do you think? And then, just then, Uncle Edmund said that he had forgotten his game bag, right? And when he said that, what did you think? Were you immediately alerted? Yeah, then I was immediately alerted. So before, I just thought that something suspicious was gonna happen. Now this happens, I immediately knew that something was happening, because nobody in their right mind is gonna just bet a silver dollar on something that they know that they're 100% going to lose. That means that Uncle Edmund, I knew that he has something up his sleeve, and now that he's actually doing something, and he says that he's gonna do it alone, that just made alarm bells sound in my head. What about you? And then after that, they started actually hunting. And they were pretty good hunters, right? They got a lot of things. They got 3 squirrels and a brace of partridges. So, I have a question. What do you think they're gonna do with all of that? Like, us right now in this era, we're probably not going to think, okay, this is food. Like, we don't really eat squirrels these days. If we do eat meat, and I know that some people out there are vegan, but if we do eat meat, most of us eat meat, like, I don't know, we eat pork, and we eat chicken, and we eat steak, and we eat, you know, those types of things. We don't really eat things like squirrel or partridge. And what do you think that this says about us? Do you think that this says that we have a limited diet? We have a diet that's not very diverse? Or do you think it just says that our world is now better and much more simpler and less complicated and maybe a little more civilized? I don't really think there's no difference between killing a pig and killing a squirrel. Now, people might say there is a difference, but really in civilization, I don't really think that there's a difference, right? We're not uncivilized if we kill and eat rodents. That just means that rodents are the best source of food. We're not uncivilized if we eat bugs. I mean, a lot of people eat bugs, and though I've never eaten a bug, I have seen things like scorpion on a stick, and I really want to try it. Okay, I don't really want to try it, but I want to keep an open mind, so maybe I'll try it. If I do, I'll immediately notify all of you, though. That's probably not going to happen. And also, what do you, in my opinion, I think that our diet is just too small right now, and I think that we should diversify our diet. What do you think? I mean, we only eat, like for meats in general, we almost all eat just cows, pigs, and chickens. There's not much else. And I think that's just really surprising, right? After all of those things, there's not a lot of meat, other types of meat that we eat. Yes, we do eat other types, but mostly it's chickens and pigs and cows. That's it. And soon, Caddie was starting to paddle and the log started going apart. If you had been Caddie, would you have immediately realized that something was wrong? Or do you think you would already have realized beforehand that something was wrong? In my excitement, I don't think that I would have really noticed it, but by the time I got down to the shore, I would be looking for Uncle Edmund's tricks. I think that I would be prepared. And also, I think that by the time the first log split loose, I think that I would immediately think, Uncle Edmund, what have you done? That's exactly what I would have thought. What about you? Do you think that you would have realized this really quickly or not? And if you had been Caddie and you just fell into the water, do you think that you would have been angry, or do you think that you would have thought that it was very funny? What would you have thought about the situation? And do you think that you would think, oh, that was a good trick, or would you think, oh, what do you think? And do you think that Uncle Edmund should have played this trick on them or not? I don't think that he should have on Caddie or not. I don't think that he should have played this trick on her because it's mean and it really made her, and it really tricked her, and I think that she didn't really deserve it. Still, if you had been Uncle Edmund, what would you have thought about this? I still think that it would have been very funny, and I would probably have laughed a little bit. And if you had been Caddie, how would you have responded to Uncle Edmund? Would you have said, hey, Uncle Edmund, that was a good trick. Now, can you please help me? Or would you think, or would you explode like Caddie? Uncle Edmund really paid for his trick, right? He gathered up everything. And do you think that Uncle Edmund, do you think that he deserved to go through all of that? And at the end of this, Uncle Edmund did give Caddie her silver dollar, right? And do you think this is fair? Yeah, this is fair because they agreed to it, and now Uncle Edmund, they agreed to it, and Uncle Edmund kept his promise, right? And still, Caddie said that they were equal even before Uncle Edmund gave Caddie the silver dollar. What do you think this says about Caddie? I think that it says that she's very easygoing and she's very forgivable, and she's really she forgives easily, and I think that she really is nice and very open-minded, and I think that she can find different ways to find situations. Like at first the situation might just seem really bad, but in the end even she realized that it was very funny. And so what do you think what do you think it says about Caddie? And are you like that? How are you different? And what do you think it says about Uncle Edmund? Because he gave her the silver dollar. What do you think? Yeah, what does it say about Uncle Edmund? Now, chapter 5 says, Nero, farewell. What did you think? Did you think, 1, Nero's going to die. 2, Nero got lost. 3, somebody shot Nero. That's actually the same as number 1 because Nero dies then, but you know, still, it's sort of different. And 4, somebody takes Nero. I thought that it was number 1, you know, Nero dies, but the exclamation mark makes it seem a little happier. Well, not happier, but Nero, farewell is different from, like, if you were really sad about it, you wouldn't say Nero, farewell. You would think Nero, farewell. You wouldn't shout it, or maybe you would. Maybe you would be like Nero, farewell. And you will be crying while you said it. I'm not very sure, but I just had a feeling that it wasn't as grave as that. I thought maybe he got lost, maybe somebody took him. I thought that was what would happen. Now, has anybody have you ever made a lot of money? Well, it doesn't have to be a lot of money. It can just be, what in your opinion, a lot of money. And has anybody else, and what does other people like? What do other people like? And has anybody told you to spend your money there or there or there? Well, I have made money in my life, but mostly we don't really talk about that because 1, I don't have any siblings, so no siblings are saying, "Hey, Jaden, can you just loan me a few bucks? I want to buy this. I want to buy some toys at the toy store." It's not like that. And my parents, they don't really intrude into my money, but they do suggest that I put it into stocks. Like a very nice, safe stock, not like one of those ones where you can lose a lot of money in a day. So, still, mostly we just, keep out of money. You earn money, you keep that money. You don't really spend it. Well, I can't spend it, but you know what I'm saying. We don't really talk about that a lot. What about you? Do people talk about money a lot? And in your family, do people talk about money a lot in your family? And when you get something, does everybody say, you need to spend that on that? Like they're all saying, Warren and the boys and the girls and even Mrs. Woodlawn, they're all saying, you should spend it on that, you should spend it on that, you should spend it on that. But what do you think that Caddie's going to spend it on? I don't know, but I'm sure that she's not going to spend it on candy or dolls or gloves or silver tops. Not silver tops, sorry, just tops. Or anything, things like that. I think that she's going to buy something else, something very special. What do you think it's going to be? And Uncle Edmund is now going to leave, right? And if Uncle Edmund was leaving, how would you feel? How do you feel when somebody you like leaves? Whether it's a friend or a family member or an associate that you really like. What do you think? How do you feel? I feel sort of sad. At the same time, I'm thinking, wow, now, mostly when I'm with somebody I like, I have fun with that person. But once that person is gone, that fun, I don't get to have that fun anymore. And now I'm thinking, okay, back to my regular life. That's what I'm thinking. And then Uncle Edmund suggested that he was going to take Nero to St. Louis. What did you think about that? And if you had been Caddie, would you have liked it, or would you have thought, no way, I hate that idea? How would you have reacted to this? And do you think that Uncle Edmund's plan to make Nero into a fine hunting dog, do you think that is going to work? And if you had been Mrs. Woodlawn, would you have agreed or not? I don't think I would have agreed. I would have just said, no, Edmund, and that's that. What if you have been somebody else? How would you have talk to Edmund. And do you think that Uncle Edmund will do a good job handling Nero, or do you think that something bad is going to happen to Nero? What do you think? And now the kids are out busy gathering a lot of wild grapes, butternuts, and hazels, right? They're also getting cranberries, and they're just getting a lot of food, right? Have you ever gotten a lot of food like that or not? Never, because the thing is, I never just do those types of things because I live in a city. There's not a lot of places where you can go and pick cranberries. But do you think that you would like that? Because back then, I mean, right now, we have to buy everything at supermarkets, but with so much food in the wild, we could just go out into the wild, grab food, and yes, it's not going to be enough to feed the whole family, but it would be contributing in a way where you don't have to spend any money. But still, do you think that modern supermarkets are better than those old tactics? What do you think? Because on one hand, it's all free. All of that food is free, right? On the other hand, you have to spend so much time and energy, and you're gonna get tired really quickly. Then also, if you go into the forest, well, it's just nice going into the forest, right? But if you go to a supermarket, it's mostly really cold, and yeah. What I'm saying is that there are pros and cons to both. But what do you prefer? I still prefer the supermarket. It is better. Still, I think that sometimes, like, many people go apple picking and orange picking. It's not just because they want to work hard. It's just because they like that feeling of picking. It's just like that. We're humans. We're instinctively, we have an instinct to pick things and to eat them like that, not get them from these huge cold supermarkets that have food that isn't really, like, our bodies are not used to just getting food. We're used to scrounging for food, so I'm pretty sure that plays into our instincts. Now also, there's another really cool thing that we learn, and that is, their mother, she has this turkeys, right? And she sells them. And do you think that this time she's gonna sell any turkeys or not? I have a feeling that she wasn't going to sell any turkeys. And what did you think about the turkeys? Because, Mrs. Woodlawn, she really cares for her turkeys, right? Have you ever seen anybody else so devoted to animals or so devoted to their income stream? Like, it's not like when Mrs. Woodlawn runs a lucrative business, but she does run a really good business. And she's really invested in her money. It's not like she doesn't really care about them. Well, she does care about the money. What I'm saying is that have you ever seen anybody so invested in their income stream, even though it isn't that important? It doesn't give them as much money. What do you think? And just then, Mrs. Woodlawn comes back, and she hasn't even sold any of the turkeys. What did you think? I was really surprised. I thought that Mrs. Woodlawn would sell at least a few turkeys, but this was like zero, right? And she would say, they're just robbers. They give me so low prices, and all they eat is salt pork, which is poor trash. What do you think about this? I do think that really, why do you need to eat turkeys when you can eat salt pork? I mean, it's cheaper, it's still pretty nice, and besides, people are short on cash. They don't have enough food. I mean, they don't have enough money, and they don't have a lot of food, and so they're trying to make the best of what they have, and turkeys are just too expensive. What do you think? If you had been a villager, would you have bought Mrs. Woodlawn's turkeys? And if you had been Mrs. Woodlawn, would you have just sold the turkeys at a lower price? Or would you only sell half of the turkeys at lower price and bring home the rest? Or how would you have sold your turkeys? I think I will sell a few to the highest bidders, but the rest I think that I would just eat because that would benefit me and also my whole family. Well, meanwhile, I still get some money, and that's good. So, do you think that eating those many turkeys, how do you think that's gonna affect them? Because they have like so many turkeys, and you just eat turkey after turkey after turkey after turkey. Do you think you're gonna like it or not? Well, at first I think I'll really like it, but it's just, I think that I'm soon gonna get sick with it. At first I'll like it, then in the end, I won't be able to eat. And how do you think that the story is going to turn out? And how do you think that Nero is going to turn out? Do you think that Caddie will get sick of turkeys quickly? How do you think that she's gonna spend her silver dollar? We're all going to find out in the next chapters of Caddie Woodlawn. If you want to check out other books by Carol Ryrie Brink, I'm sorry if I made a wrong pronunciation. Well, she has made a lot of other books like Baby Island, The Pink Motel, Winter Cottage, Two Are Better Than One, The Bad Times of Irma Baumlane, I might have not said that right, and Magical Melons, which is actually a sequel to Caddie Woodlawn. So, you like Caddie Woodlawn? Maybe you should see Magical Melons. So this is a Newbery Medal winning book. So it's a really, really amazing book. Newbery Medal winning books are really, really awesome. A few other books I recommend. The Giver by Lois Lowry. This is also a Newbery Medal winner. And The Last Quintista, which is another Newbery Medal winner. Yeah. And finally, yeah, this is the actual cover, the jacket, but I took it off. And finally, don't have it with me right now, but there's also a book called The Girl Who Drank the Moon. Really awesome, has won the Newbery Medal, and it's a fantasy book, and I just completely love it. I hope that you enjoyed this book. Yeah, how did you think about the book? Do you like the book? Do you not like the book? Well, who is your favorite character? Who is your least favorite character? And what do you think is going to happen next? What are a few predictions that you have for the book? And finally, what was your favorite part? I hope that you enjoyed this book, and I'm going to see you next time for more chapters in Caddie Woodlawn. Bye, and keep reading because reading is awesome.